Hey everyone, I'm Nick with ChasingYouDown.com. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Samsung Galaxy NX1000 digital camera. It's Wi-Fi enabled and is also a 20.3 megapixel camera. This camera right here is able to swap out the lenses on it with a range of Samsung's other Galaxy cameras. I chose this one instead of the Samsung Galaxy Smart Camera that has the Android operating system on it, just because I really didn't see the need to have an Android operating system on a digital camera, and I figured with the Wi-Fi enabled features of this camera that would be more than adequate for what I need. With the Wi-Fi enabled options on this, you can connect it to either an Android smartphone or your iOS device, and you can wirelessly send yourself any videos that you take with this camera or photos. You can also use it as a remote viewfinder where you can see what exactly this camera is seeing and take the pictures on your smartphone, and the camera will capture them either onto the memory card in this or back onto your smartphone. So I really thought that was going to be a really great feature to have. What I found with it though is that the transfer speeds are just not adequate, especially if you're going to be using this to be recording any type of videos on a regular basis. The video capturing abilities of this camera with any of the lenses that I've tried using the 20 to 50 millimeter lens that comes with it, and it just has a super difficult time continuing to stay focused on the object that's in front of it. If any of you have watched any of my old videos, all of the videos that I have filmed pretty much up until 2014 were done with this camera right here. And if you listen to those videos, you can hear the motor in this lens continuing to try and focus on whatever I'm reviewing, and it's just cannot capture video very well. And you know, when you're using a tripod and the camera is as stable as it can possibly be and it still isn't capturing very good video, it's a bit of a drawback, especially when this camera housing is anywhere between $400 to I'd say $500 on most places you're gonna look. Now that it's 2014 and there's some new models coming out, this may get greatly reduced in price. I actually think I saw in Best Buy in Canada on Boxing Day or during their Boxing Week sale there, that this camera was on sale for like $250, which is a super huge discount on what I paid for it. And for a camera itself, this camera is fantastic. If you want to see some of the pictures that this thing takes, you can check out my Instagram page at Chasing You Down. Any photos that I've taken with this will be tagged in the comment section of the picture. And this fisheye lens that I have on this camera right now is amazing. I try and shoot with this lens any chance I get. I do use the 20 to 50 mil that was supplied with it quite a bit. I haven't used this one too much because I found when you're trying to focus really far out on it that it starts to get quite blurry and you need a tripod. And I bought this camera because I wanted something a little more portable that I didn't have to bring around a lot of camera equipment with. The flash that comes with it is this one right here. It is removable. To turn it off and on, you just flip it up and down. Down obviously is off, up is on. I've found that when I'm using the flash in a low light condition in conjunction with the fisheye lens, that it really creates a almost purpley blue oval in the center of the pictures. So if you want to get away from that, you're going to have to go out and get Samsung's optional flash that they sell. It's a little more beefy. You have different modes that you can set it into, but it really creates amazing photographs in low light conditions if you swap out the one that comes with it for the one that you can buy after the fact. Now, one of the other drawbacks besides the low transfer speeds is just the lenses itself. There's not a lot of places that are going to sell the lenses for this camera. I think I lucked out that Best Buy even had this one in stock. It was the last one they had. I've checked a lot of Future Shops and Best Buys in Edmonton here, and I haven't seen any that are carrying it. I've gone into a few specialized camera stores. No one really carries this in a specialized camera store. I've found that almost any lenses that I'm going to want to buy for this camera, I'm going to have to order from B&H Photography online. That's where I got the fisheye lens. The lenses are expensive. I mean, anything that's this compact and the amount of technology that they put in it, it's to be expected. The thing that I would kind of look at is, is this a camera that you're going to want to be using for the next few years? I mean, it is a camera that you could easily use for years down the road. And if you want to upgrade your housing to a different Samsung one later down the road, all of these lenses will be interchangeable. Just like if you were to buy a Canon or a Nikon camera, you're going to be able to use these lenses with this manufacturer. If it's not something that you really are going to want to keep or invest a lot of money in because you just want to point and shoot, you might want to look at something different than having interchangeable lenses. It just does create a lot of extra cost to you if you're going to start buying lenses and it's not a camera you're going to keep. I mean, when you're looking at almost $400 for the fisheye lens, an additional couple $100 for the zoom lens, and you start getting into some more specialized lenses that have a stationary focal length. They take great photos, but it is a huge expense, so that is something to keep in mind. I mean, you could go to something like a Canon where you have hundreds of lenses to choose from. Canon isn't the only one that's going to make them. I mean, there is other manufacturers that make lenses that are compatible with the Samsung, so you do have a large variety of lenses that you can purchase for this, but like I said, you're not going to be able to find them in any store that you walk into, whereas with a Canon or a Nikon, you're going to be able to go into, a McBain's or a Black's photography store, Best Buy, Future Shop, and pick up a lens right off the shelf for your camera. So you do have to think about that. And as I said, the video option on this isn't very good for stationary videos, especially doing like product reviews like I'd been trying to use it to do. In terms of still frame photography, it's fantastic. I have an old Canon Rebel that I used for years. I've continued to want to buy a newer either Rebel or maybe upgrade to a different housing in the Canon line just to continue to utilize the lenses that I have for that. However, after buying this, I'm really happy with it. I mean, it's small, it's light, the lenses for it are really compact and light, and the smart features on this camera are just fantastic. I mean, if you were wanting to do some video, it's still going to be able to do that for you. It has full 1080p HD recording on it. you have a feature on this where you put it into a smart mode and it'll just automatically pick the best light conditions and scene essentially for where you're at, and it does a really good job of selecting just the proper scene, so to speak, for that situation. You also have the ability to just do full manual control, shutter priority, aperture priority, and you also have a feature with the Samsungs where you can put it on this eye, and you press the eye function on your lens. Not all the lenses are eye function enabled, just certain ones, but it gives you lens priority. So when you turn it on and you go into this, you press the eye feature. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but you literally use the manual focus on your lens, and you can select different types of features, you know, miniature. It creates a artificial fisheye for some, a sketch feature, night, beach, snow, and it just allows you to decide and just use the lens. These are mirrorless digital cameras. It's the latest thing coming out with from every manufacturer, pretty much, just not putting mirrors in their cameras anymore. It creates less issues with sensors being dirty and needing to be cleaned and everything else that comes along with it. And as I said, it's a great camera. The video capturing abilities of this camera, I don't think are that great. I haven't been too impressed with it, and if you've seen some of my old videos, as I said, you can see and hear just what the quality of those videos is like in terms of still frame photography. Absolutely amazing if you're wanting to do wireless transfer back to your smartphone really quickly to do Instagram photos. It does that well. Videos take a long time to upload, and videos drain this battery. The other thing is trying to do any type of firmware update. Unfortunately, you cannot connect to your Wi-Fi network with this camera and just automatically retrieve your firmware updates for either your lenses or for your camera. You have to plug the camera in, log on, manually upload the new firmware update for the lens if there is one, or for the housing. So doing that does take a bit of time, and I don't want to say skill, but you know, for the typical person that wants a digital camera, they're not going to think about having to upgrade their firmware for their lens or for their camera housing just to stay updated and make sure that everything's running perfectly. And that is a bit of a drawback to it. If they had made it easier where you could just log on to your home Wi-Fi network, upload the firmware automatically, that would have been a huge advantage, especially on their Galaxy line. So keep all of these things in mind. Like I said, it's a great camera. Lens availability isn't really there. The battery life, if you're trying to shoot video with this thing, is going to kill your battery. So I would recommend buying a second battery with this camera. Lenses, they are expensive. Seriously consider what manufacturer you want to really go with when thinking about going into maybe a compact digital camera, because later down the road you may want something with a larger body on it, and if you decide that you want to do that with a Canon or a Nikon where you have a lot more lens options, just a lot more widely available, you might be kicking yourself for investing into a smaller one where these lenses are essentially going to be useless except for with a Samsung digital camera. So those are just my opinions of this camera. Like I said, you can check out some of the photos I've done with this on Instagram. Chasing You Down is my tag name on there. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Like I said, I'm with chasingyoudown.com. The website still isn't up and running yet, but it will be soon in this new year, 2014. Happy New Year, everyone. You can check me out on Twitter. chasingyoudown.com is the handle on there. I'm on Tumblr, Instagram, Google Plus. Start following me, and I'll keep the videos coming. Thanks for watching.